Hey, good morning, guys. Um, yeah, I'm trying to get a little further along on the octopus bag, um, so I can get outside and get some weed eating done. There's the octopus bag. For those who may have missed yesterday, I'm still working towards the point to where I can put the zipper in, and right now, I have the zipper in place. Yeah, right now I'm at row like, I don't know, I think I'm like at row 22 so far. And you don't start working on the zipper opening, not the zipper itself, until row 41. And then you start installing the zipper after you've done row 46. And that's when I'll record and do a video of how to install zippers. And by the way, the pattern comes from Amigurumi on the Go by Ana Paula Rimoli, and the book has 30 patterns, all of which I intend to make and put up in my shop because these are really fun to make. I mean, this one's going to be a wee bit of a pain in the butt, much longer than I wanted to put in on it, but yeah, it'll be worth it in the end. And the thing that's going to really frustrate me is when I get stuck doing the legs, the octopus legs. And they're, bicollared, so you're going to, yeah. I'll probably hate myself, and that'll definitely be the last octopus bag I ever make. But anyways, I've made other bags that she's had, like this one, the cat bag. I did this one. This is also in the book. She's got 30 projects, so this was also in the book where you're combining felt with crochet. And something that I wanted to show you here is the difference for those who have never seen it. This is the difference between working through both loops and now, because of arthritis giving me a harder time when I'm crocheting, I work in the back loop only. So see the difference there? Completely different. Another view, this one's completed, like with this, working in the back loop compared to working in that, and see it from that top angle. And I still prefer the back loop method though, because here, yeah, you can see the rows to be able to count, but here you've got the ridge lines, which makes it even easier as you're getting older and you're trying to see small things. So anyway, let's see, yeah, and if you have, for those who also have missed previous videos, this is another one from her book that I completed up and has a zipper on the back and stuff, and also available in my shop. But from looking at this, I did another one, and this one was mine. I just wanted to do a little turtle one, and I put this together last year, and a little brown shell on the back, and I could have added more detail to it, but I just didn't want to. I just wanted a plain, simple little bag. And there's that. This one's also up in my shop. And in this case, and using the different types of eyes, thinking of amigurumi again. In this case, I used black felt for the eyes. In this case, I just used buttons. Okay? And then, of course, on this one, I used little 9mm safety eyes. So, and the only problem with the safety eyes when you put them on something like this is that you've got that post is going to stick through. Hold on there. You've got this long post that's going to stick through. And that's when I use the cutter end of pliers, needle nose, to be able to cut that off with. And that way it's not in the end gonna stab anyone or get it in the way. And of course, after you cut it, it sometimes gets a jagged edge, a rather sharp edge that a little kid might get scratched on, or you might get scratched on. And so what I do is I take a little bit of sandpaper and I go over it, a little smooth sandpaper, and I go over it to get that file down enough to make it nice and safe so no one gets hurt. So that's what I'm up to on that. So I've just got to wait till I get to that point, and once I do, then I'll get on to that video and get that made up for you. Because it really is a bit confusing sometimes getting these zippers in and getting them in quickly. And now that I know how to get them in really fast, I wanted to get a video made up for you so you could do it too. So anyway, what else am I doing? Well, I'm also in a class. If you've been on the Facebook fan page, you know that I was advertising Kara Gott Warner, former editor of Creative Knitting magazine. She's doing a 5-day shawl challenge. Well, I'm a bit behind because of Passover, so I was working finally on my little shawl minis, and I was doing that one last night. It looks like a bird. Really needs blocked, but anyway, I was doing that last night, and I finally learned how to do yarn overs properly. I've always done my yarn overs wrong, so I got that going down through the back, looking pretty well last night. Trying to get it in a decent light, and it's not. There we go. Got that going down pretty well last night. But it's really neat because she's trying to teach us how to design shawls intuitively. And I don't really know how to explain that except for as you're going along, follow your gut instincts of what's going on. And then I had done up my swatch, a gauge swatch last night, which is like, dude, it's wider than it is longer. Yes, it is. But it's beyond the 4-inch mark, so that's all I was shooting for. And I wanted to see how this yarn would work. This is the using number 9 needles to do my shawls, and this is Red Heart Boutique. What is it called? Red Heart Boutique. I was about to say Unfortunate, Unforgettable, and Meadow, and I kind of like it. I mean, I really liked it when I was doing this because it was pretty. I loved the way that it was coming out. And the way the colors changed, and it was just beautiful. But when it came to doing this, I don't like it as much. So hopefully I can get to Walmart today and get a different color of it. But I've never really made anything completed with this yarn, so this will be a first. Because to be honest, my favorite yarn to make shawls with is Caron. I really like the Caron Simply Soft because it drapes really nice. I mean, this stuff, when Caron says Simply Soft, I mean, it just, it is soft and really nice to work with. So this was my first triangular shawl I ever made, was this one. And I wanted something with like fall colors, and so this is how I ended up going with the greens and yellows and gold and the brown. And I had played a lot with it. Most of it is garter stitch, like this is all garter stitch through here, and then I threw in, to break up the collars, I threw in moss stitch. But I don't have, as you can see, I don't have any type of lacing on it at all. I just wanted a nice solid, mainly because I don't want any air coming through because I have a very cold cottage. And then they obviously come out to a very pointy tip, which I found out that a lot of people don't like pointy tips on the shawls. Well, I do. I like them. I think they look really neat. But this is on this one, on this garter stitch, when I was doing it, I threw in some moss in between because I was bored doing the garter. And it's like, yeah, that works for me. And then I had done it again right there with the garter, and I placed it in. And the more I've looked at it, the more I wished I'd done it with most everything, which, well, I did. I did pretty much do that with everything until I got to this last one. This was the first one. I didn't do it on. I did it as I went further along and then got to the top. But, oh, goodness sake. Yeah, because I started at the bottom here and went from the bottom to the top instead of from the neck down. But yeah, at that point, I was perfectly fine with it. But I do this again, then I'm going to make sure I always throw that garter stitch in between, or the moss stitch in between, because it really makes it look sharp. So anyway, and then of course I don't know where my head was on this one, but this is a totally different collar. I don't even remember putting it in there. And it's like, where did that come from? I have no idea. But I think it was a sudden change. Sometimes in the colors of the yarn in the skein, I found where the dye hadn't hit a certain spot. And so it's still, pretty crappy. But anyway, so that's, one of my other ones. And while I'm looking at shawls, this is my other shawl I just had designed, which is almost more like a shrug. Let's see if you can, that sunlight giving me fits. Here, get away from me. There. Here we go. The one, some of you have seen it if you've seen my past videos. And then, yeah, I've got to sew that back on better. This was a sample button I'd put on, a vintage button from my grandmother's button tin. And I had just left that on there to see if I was going to keep it. And so, yeah, I decided I will. So that was another one that I'd done up. And then I made one for Mom because she gets cold when she's in the car. But anyways, so I'm having fun trying to get caught up and do little shawl minis. And so that's what I'll be doing also as I can before the last days of Pesach. But especially working on this today, because Sunday I'd like to be able by then to get on to recording the video for how to install those zippers. But anyways, that's it. Sorry this one went a little bit long today, but I thought I'd show you my shawls and stuff that I'm working on. And anyway, that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Good Shabbos to the tribe, and Freilich and Pesach. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye, guys. See ya.